Today we are going to be talking about Pipe Planner and really just a overview, comprehensive introduction to show you how the tools can help benefit you. My name is Tony Crick. I'm the Civil Product Manager here at CTC Software. If you have any questions as we go along, please put them into the questions panel, and we will save time at the end to answer those. If you are watching this on YouTube, which this webinar will be available on YouTube shortly after today's webinar, and you have questions, put them in the comment panel, and we will get to those and get back to you. So with that, thank you for joining us today, and let's get started. Planner from CTC Software is part of our project suite of tools, and it's built to help design or streamline your design and management for your gravity pipe networks. And we can do this, and pressure pipe networks. And we can do this all in one place, in one gridded format. So we can make edits right there, and we can push those out to an Excel spreadsheet and also have those update in the drawing itself instantly. As I mentioned, it's part of our CIM Project Suite of tools, Civil Infrastructure Management set of tools, and those are designed for the everyday Civil 3D user creating design and production drawings. We are currently on version 26.1. So if you have our tools and you aren't up to 26.1, I encourage you to update unless you are using a version of Civil 3D that's older than 2022. So if you're using 2021, it will not work that far back. So don't do it with any of our 26 tools in that regard. Today we're going to talk a little bit about how we can use the tool to automate our editing of our layouts, and we can adjust the plan runs as a whole or individually, and that should help us create some accurate documentation for those, which will in the end improve all of our underground design workflows. Pipe Planner, it's part of our pipes module set of tools. We have 4 tools within that: Part Swapper, Pipe Planner, which we're talking about today, Pipe Designer, and Parts Tagger. Within the Pipe Planner, we have 2 separate tools, one to do all of our editing and one to bring those edits back in once we have made those in an Excel spreadsheet. So with that, we can edit multiples, we can view those, and then we can push those updates right into the drawing to see what's happening. So with that, it should help to eliminate repetitive clicking through object properties palettes. We can sort and filter pipes by structure, size, slope. We can do it in a number of ways, and we can quickly adjust those across the entire network. Now we can export those to an Excel spreadsheet for reporting, editing, whatever you need to do, and that works externally. So somebody can be working on that without using up a license. You work directly in the Excel spreadsheet, however you choose to do that, and then they can also be used for reporting. And that will help us to identify any inconsistencies. We can see all those in a gridded format so we can see what might be different. We can make those global changes without selecting individual parts, which hopefully will help to reduce your human error, and we can compare our networks together at a glance. And in the end, it's really going to avoid all that cumbersome click and edit going through the properties dialog boxes that I think we've all done before. Can be really time consuming. So with that, let's jump into the tool and see how it works. Okay, hopefully you can all see this. Here we have a design of a simple storm sewer to show you how the tool works. So I've created a storm structure schedule over here. No pipes are involved in this schedule right here. And that was done natively to show you how these things update as we go here. So pipe planner is right here. We pull it down. Once you've used it the first time, it will stay on that module. So I don't need to do the pull down again. If I cancel this and just click it, we'll see it will open up back to that same format. So if I did the same thing with the import, that would be there as well. So save it one click. So Pipe Planner designed like many of our tools with the options tab here. We have pull down with some other things here, some helpful videos. This will take you to the user guide. We can request a feature here, report a bug, tell you about your licensing, and the same is here. I mentioned before, if you don't have 26.1, you should probably get it. Here's how you know what you have, what you're using. If you don't, you can come right to here and you should be able to download it directly. So you will have the latest and greatest. We're always improving our tools, so there may be things in there that aren't in a version that you're using currently. So in our options tab right here, we can set some things to use that we will use on a consistent basis. This right here is where our templates go. I mentioned before we can save those to a template for use to eliminate some of the repetitiveness that we might need to do. We can set our precisions right here for our reporting and our tables, however we want to see those. We can set those here. We can use also our drawing precisions, whatever you have set to do. A lot of people would put these templates in a network location or project specific location, client specific, that kind of thing to get at those and use them on a frequent basis without having to push things over. Right here we have a pipe depth calculation section, so you can find out how deep your pipes are. And we have some different ways to do it. We can go crown obvert, we can go top, we can go invert, we can go to the bottom. Pretty much the same on either one of these, depending on what your pipes are. So I'm going to leave mine set to top right here. So that's going to give me the depth to the top of the pipe. And my sample intervals, how far do I want the pipe runs to be sampled? So every 10 feet, it's going to change again. So it's going to start at 0 and go to 5. So the first 10 feet, go 0 to 5, and so on. Every 10 feet, it's going to find a change between that. We can add these as we want. We can make these whatever we want. We can go 0 to 1 if we want to do every 1, and then we can start adding. Well, that one went from 20 to 21 because I said 1, and then we can set these however we want to set them. I'm going to delete that one off of there. I'm going to leave this set to 0 to 5 feet. So if you're looking for some really shallow things, you would want to go 0 to 1, 1 to 2, and so on. And again, you set those however you want, and they're going to be reported in the table, which we will get to in a minute or two here. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to just open a random structure here, and we'll see what is all available natively. So we have all this, and these need to be done individually per structure, per pipe. We can see connections to each one of those through here, so we have an idea, but we know that is very time consuming. So with Pipe Planner, we can do that across the entire network, and we can pull out just the parts that we want as well. So once we open it, you would get something like this right here. So how do we get some data over there? So if I come here and I minimize, we have all the same categories that were available in the parts property. So if I was going to do structures individually, pipes individually, or all, I can work on it all at once. If I had more than one network in here, I'll show you in a minute, we would select that. By default, it's just the storm. So it grabs that, and I can kick individual pipes over if I wanted. That one was what? Manhole 16. So I could just look at that one right here. And so this is just a basic setup. It would be blank if you want to leave that however you want to do it. But to populate that out now, if we wanted to match, let's say we wanted to match exactly this storm structure table right here. So I already have a name. We don't have description in there, so I can get rid of that. So you just highlight it and right click on there, and I can remove the column. So name is the first one, alignment is the next one. So we have over here this handy filter box right here where we can then just find what we're looking for. So I want the reference alignment. I'll kick that over. So now I have my reference alignment. So I want station offset. I hit station offset, structure station, type offset, structure offset, and the material. I'm not going to go any further because I did save a template for this to show you how easy that is. So I kick the material over, and now we're starting to see what we have. So, and then the details, so rim, sump, pipe in, pipe out, casting. But I saved that as a template, so I can go get that right here. So that's where we talked about at the beginning, where that's path to. So I have one called structure schedule. So if I take that and load that in here, it's going to load that in. And when I saved it in this drawing, so I'm going to get everything that I had pushed over. So that's why we're seeing that. If you didn't, it wouldn't match that, but you could just push over whatever you wanted. So here we've got what we're looking for: our name, reference alignment, structure station, offset, the material, and then the details: the rim, the sump, invert in, invert out, and the grate type, and then the description of what it is. So we've got it all right here. So in here we can start to change anything that's in white that we saw in our part structure property. In this case, we can start to change any of that. Likewise, if I wanted everything in there, I could just push everything over. If I do a double push over like that, both arrows, it's going to put every one of these as a header up here and give me more information if I wanted to, but this is what we typically edit for a project like this. So that's why I saved it as a template. It saves us time from having to repopulate that table and lets us more easily get at what we really want to do. So I can just go ahead and reload that back up, and we will get the same data we had before. So a couple different ways to go through how you want to edit your things. So in this case, we can see a couple of different things going on here. So we've got some castings that are generic, it looks like, from the first time they were done, but somebody has called out specific grates to be used for this. So if I want that to match, I can do this a couple different ways. So I've seen my CB right there needs to be changed to the same thing. So I can simply do that. Oops, it's Excel format, so it's going to do the next counter for that. I can hand enter it. I can do a copy paste right here. Very Excel friendly for that, how that works. just paste that in. Okay, so now down here we see that some of these manholes have, one of them's been called out, so we probably need to change all of those. So we can do that here as well. So if I copy this one, oops, come on. If I copy this one and paste it into here, come on. I'll just take that out. So I do that, and then I can just highlight these two. Oops. Do a control. Grab it again. Then if I grab this corner, I can drag that up. Come on. There, and they're all changed. So a lot easier than opening those up one by one, however you would do that. And now if I tell it to apply, we'll see these change instantly in the drawing. So we see these have all changed. So let's look at this a little bit more. Now we have one right here, this 25 is not named correctly, obviously. We need to change that, and we can do the same thing right here in the drawing, or we can kick that out to an Excel and change it there. So to do that, we would come here and we would send this out to the Excel spreadsheet. So I have some that are in here already. Whoops, I'm in the wrong folder, hang on. Because I didn't think I had one in there. But I don't have one in here for this one. So if you don't have one, and I would suggest that you, wherever you're putting your schedules, you have one already that you copy in there, but you need to make one. So we come down, right click down here to new, and we make an Excel spreadsheet. So if I call this, as we had in the other one, storm structure, schedule, and now I can open that, and I'm ready to write to it. So a couple different ways to do this. I can create new, I can write to an existing sheet. So if I have that already in there, I can write to existing sheets, and I'll get over here of what to pick from. So if I do that, this will come alive, and I don't have any because it's a brand new one. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create new. Then we have some different selections over here to include the headers for what we see up here, or put the structures and pipes on separate tabs. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put on separate tabs, and I'm going to go ahead and export that. So it's telling me it exists. Getting a little warning before it does it, and then it's going to open my Excel spreadsheet, which it did on the other screen. Let me go grab that. It will open it where you had it last. So I didn't have any pipes grabbed here. I have only the structures, but we want to change the name of this one right here. So if I was going to do this, I would save this. I would have like a template for this to write to all the time, and I like to have these a bit larger, not quite that large, so I can read them more easily and then open them up some to see what's in there. So I would save that as sort of a template or whatever, and then write to that one every time. Go get it, bring it along, whatever. So if I want to fix this one, I'm going to change that one to, let's call it CB. I don't know what the order is. We'll just call it CB25. I'll hit enter. I'll tell it to save. And I believe I can minimize that to bring it in. So I'm going to say OK right here now and leave this page. And here's where the edit comes in. So anything we did over there, we can do in the other format. Oops. So let me change a couple of these where it says reinforced. Not sure if that's an editable field or not. Let's try one. Let's try this one. We have another tool to do that as well if this doesn't work. Well, let's try that. And I'll save that again. And now this time we'll go to import that. So I'll hit the import. And now I can set my, where it looks every time in my options again. I'm going to go, whoops. Where's today's folder? Oh, hang on a sec. I should have set that ahead of time. Let me go get it. That's why I say you would have this in a central location. Wrong folder. Again, wrong folder here. It's in my Excel folder. Go select my folder. And now I can go get it. Say OK. And now I need to go get it. So every time I would open this, it would be there. I wouldn't have to repath like this. In fact, let me do this. Close that and reopen it, then I don't have to set that path again. So open that import again when I'll go get it. Well, I thought I put it there. Go back and export it again. Close it. Maybe it didn't save there till I close it. Let's try that. Let me export. I'll just export it again. Let's do it again. Never hurts to see that in action again. There we go. So I'm going to go to my OneDrive. I'll write it to this one. So that's what I was saying. If you save something like this, you'll have it there. So in this case, I'm going to actually copy and paste. And I'll just rename it. I keep double clicking. There. Structure schedule, I'll just call it. Okay. All right. So we'll just do the same thing. Create new sheets for that. I'm going to export it. And we'll change that one again. CB space. Go ahead and save that. Now we'll close this and we'll bring it in. There, now the path is set right, I can just go get it, select the sheet. I want to bring in my structures. And there's what's coming in. Here's our report. We see what's been changed. The name is going to be changed. The rest of these, we tell you right here, are read-only values and the green to be updated. If it didn't find it by handle, you would get that. I'm going to go ahead and import it. And then I can close it. And that's down here. Oops, that's down here. It's been updated in our drawing. So after all that, well, that's what it does. All right, let's move on to another drawing here and look at some other things we can get out of here. So if I had this one and I needed to bring that into another drawing, say if it matched or it didn't, we'll go ahead and we'll export that. Then we'll bring it in and we'll show you how this errors out, so to speak, if you don't have it. So first I'm going to export these. So I don't know if these handles match or not, but I'm going to go ahead and export that to a new sheet. You know what? I'm just going to put it where it says to go. Let me export that again. If I closed my drawing, it would save to the right place down here, but I've stayed in the same session. Here, I'll just do this. I'll make a new one here. I'll just make it a new one from scratch. So make a new one. I'll call it today. And 0725 structures. So go ahead and open that, and then I will, again, export those. And I'm only showing you this to see if we can bring it into another drawing to see what happens. So if I had that and I went to bring that into this drawing, now I just realized I'm going to have to repath to that again. That's all right, we'll get it here. I'll just bring it in here. Let's say you see what happens with that one. See what's in there. I'll just say sheet 1. So there's nothing to be brought in with that one. So if you did have it out there, you would get the wrong, it will give you the wrong data. And we can do this with our pipe networks too. Let's try another one. I'll just try, that's from another, nope. See with that one. See what's in there. So sheet 1, again, nothing. But if you did, it would error out on you. Really all I just wanted to show you for that. You'd see in the red what didn't work. So what are some other things that we can do reports here? So we talked about that pipe depth report. Let's use this one for the pipe depth report. So here we have the same, basically the same drawing right here. And if we wanted to do a pipe depth report on these pipes, now I could do it in this drawing too, but I have more networks in here, which is what I want to show you. So this is telling me that those two don't fall outside the surface, so it's not going to fix those. But here's where you would come and select. So I can select my storm, my sanitary, and I'm going to get the same basic information here that was up there. So I'm going to turn off my storm. So we have the sanitary, I'll kick that over. So there's the data we can get from it. So I'm going to turn off that, I'll turn my storm back on, and I'll load a pipe depth template that I have. Oh, I don't have this one set to the right path either. Gosh darn it. That's glorious. So let me just set my path back and we'll go get that. Again, because I have these, haven't saved out of these, they're not going to be there. So it's here. Should be there. Okay. I think I have to close it to get at them. So let me go bring those in. Pipe planner again. And I could right click to get at that command as well. Well, where are my templates? Oh, I'm in the wrong folder again. Select that folder. Say OK. Let's try cancel. Hopefully they'll be there. There. So if you got that set up right, it'll be easier. So if I come here and I do my pipe depth report. So here I did a report up to 20 feet. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to load that in. And I'm going to say OK. And here's the report. Here's what we're really looking for. So for my pipes, in the 0 to 5, I've got 30 feet for this pipe. 5 to 10, I've got there. I've got 160 feet. So we can do this pipe depth report very quickly, very easily. If I were to change how my depths are, if I want to, let's delete these off here. I'm going to just do it by ones. So if I go every 1 foot, I'll just go to, how deep did we get? 15, I'll just go to 10. So I'm going to say OK here. And if I reload that template, now we can see that these have changed. So it's telling me I don't have any that are under 3 feet, but now I've got some that are 3 to 4. So that fell in our 5 to 10. If I want to reorganize these, I just click the first box, click that, the far box, right, or shift and collect, and then I can move these columns right. And I can continue to move these columns around in any order that I want them to report. So if I just want them to the far end again, I can do like that. And then if I save this again as a report, they will come in that way again. So there's templating for that. What else did I want to, one more thing, we can also get catchment reports out of these. Let me say OK here, and we'll go back to a drawing that has catchments in there. So those other drawings didn't have catchments in there, but this one has catchments. So I can get the catchment data from there as well. So it's the same thing, everything that's in our Civil 3D and our tool space we can get from there. So I've got my structures on. I'm going to collapse all these, and I come right away down here to catchments and kick that over. I guess I had some catchment info in there already. Time of concentration and the catchment name, the area, and then what surface does it reference. So it uses catchments as well. Get all the same reports, we can change things in there. And likewise, we talked about pressure networks, can also do that. So here's a drawing with pressure network in there, and I can do the same edits I could do before. So in this case, I want to come here and select my pressure pipe network, and then I can sort these the same way. I have all, or I have pipes, I have fittings, I have appurtenances, which I don't have any attached to this. And I can kick those over, and I can start to add the same things over here that I need to be able to do these edits. And I could kick them all over as well. But it's the same things that we can get at the same way. So important things to note when you're looking through this table: if it's white, it's editable. If it's grayed out, that means it's not editable. So if I open all these up and just kind of scroll through here, we can start to see some of the things we can edit within those. Okay, one other thing I wanted to show, another way to use this tool, is we can use this to create structure staking, field staking files. I think we should be able to. Did I have that one, Pat? Well, let's find out. So if I come here and open this again, say okay, I have one that's been created already. Structure staking right here. If I load that up, I can kick all of my structures over. That includes my sanitary. So I have everything I need right here. I have the name, description, northing, easting. There's my easting. That I don't think I need that in there. So let's get that out of there. So I have my elevation, my northing, my easting. I'm going to push this one to the left. So rim, northing, easting, all the data I would need to stake that. So again, I can save this as a report. I'll go ahead and use this one. Open that. And then kick that out. So let's export that. That does have an existing sheet. Let's see what it has. So structures, it will update for today. So I'm going to say to create new and then kick that over, or export it, I mean. It will come with today's date. So if I change some things, I can even have a record of what that is. So today I have the record of what I did. Oh, and I said pipes, not structures. Or do I have a structure? There's my structure. So now I have my structured data right here, and this can be your point number, and I can save this as a CSV or ASCII or whatever you use to give to your field crews to get out there. And it's a setup every time. I don't have to reinvent the wheel on that. So with that, that's all I really had to show today. We exported, yeah, okay. So let's jump back to the PowerPoint. As we mentioned, it's part of the CTC CIM Project Suite of tools. We're currently, as I mentioned before, 26.1. We also have our manager suite of tools, which is more intended for CAD managers or those supporting a production team. If you don't have it, you'd like to get it, contact your reseller or contact us directly here at ctcsoftware.com. We'd be happy to help you out. And as always, if you have any ideas or need any help, contact us here at support. We build our tools for you to make your life easier, so we're always open to hearing your ideas of what you might like to see that can make your life easier. So with that, thank you again for taking the time out of your day to join us here. I appreciate you taking your time